Hi friends, Suzanne here. Welcome to this week's episode of Let's Tap. If you're new to the Akashic Academy, welcome. We're so glad that you're here. Every week, Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, I come on to share with you my expertise and my passion with energy tapping. So this show is all about sharing with you how to be able to relieve anxiety on demand. So if you're somebody who is a chronic overthinker or somebody who stresses out easily or maybe is very sensitive, then maybe you'll want to pay attention to this show and join us. We're going to be sharing a couple of great tips and strategies to be able to use our energy body to be able to calm down on demand anything that might be triggering us, whether it's a thought that we're thinking, an experience that we're having, an old memory that we're recalling. So thank you so much for being here. I'll say hi to a couple of folks that are joining here. I'll say hi to Kenzo's here and Kelly is here. Kelly Klein's here. Thanks so much for joining. So you might be wondering who I am and what this show is all about. And those are great questions. I'm Suzanne Gundersen. I'm a holistic stress relief mentor, and I help people to relieve anxiety, relieve chronic stress, and build confidence so they can get into alignment with who they truly are and improve their relationships, their health, their emotional health, their mental health, their physical health, and be able to truly build momentum toward having a life that they really, really want. So thanks so much for listening to me tonight. This show is called Let's Tap. It's a weekly show where I come on to the Akashic Academy on Monday nights at 9 p.m. to share with you all about energy tapping. And so tonight's topic is how to relieve anxiety on demand. So I want to say hi to a couple more folks that have joined here. Hi, Carla. Hello, pretty Rose. Thank you for that. And Carla said she shared out. Thanks so much, Carla. That's awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. So let's really quickly go over what's energy tapping. So if you're new to energy tapping, welcome. If you're, an oldie, great. Join us. Energy tapping is this amazing, brilliant tool that helps us to be able to reprogram our stress. We're literally going to use our fingertips to engage in the body's energy system. And when we do that, we are shifting and lessening our experience of stress. And our experience of stress is something that we create in our mind and our body. We create it by the thoughts that we think and the beliefs that we have and how we experience them as sensations in the body, whether it's emotions or physical sensations in the body. So when we're tapping, we're literally sending a calming message to the part of the brain to say, it's okay to calm those thoughts down. We don't have to believe everything we think. It's okay to calm the body down. We don't need to be reacting in such a fight or flight type of reactive, defensive mode all the time. It might just be a traffic jam. It may just be, that we're late for an appointment. It's not the end of the world, but our body really is telling a different story. So tapping is a great technique that helps us to be able to reprogram our stress, revitalize our energy, and reclaim our power. And it's all at our fingertips. So I'm going to go over the tapping points with you first. And if you've been around tapping a while, you might know that there are other points that I use that I'm not going to use, but I'll just keep it really simple for everybody. Whether you're new or old, I just invite you to take 2 fingers, either hand, doesn't matter. And the first point is if you drew your eyebrows together, this is the first point. Just get a nice healthy bounce right there, enough where you can feel it and you can actually hear your fingers patting on your skin. Don't go too light and don't go too hard. So that's the first point that we're going to use. And then the second point is right here on the side of the eye on your temple. Just get a nice bounce there. And then under your eye right here on the top of your cheekbone, get a nice bounce right there. And then take all 4 fingers in one hand to get a nice bounce across both your collarbones right here. And the last one we're going to use is just to take one hand and squeeze the opposite wrist a couple of times. Just squeeze it. Because we have meridians that run on the top of our arm and the bottom of our arm out to our fingertips. So all we need to do is squeeze the wrist. So if you've been around a while, you might say, Suzanne, you forgot this point, and 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 this point. And that's okay. They're all interconnected. So you can't do this wrong. When you tap on one point, you're literally engaging that energy body to circulate and move. So that's the quickie on what's energy tapping and what the tapping points are that we're going to use. So tonight's topic is all about how to relieve anxiety on demand. But I want to just say hi to a couple of folks who joined us here. Amber Elizabeth Allen is here. Thank you so much for being here. Marina is here. William's here. Nicole's here. Anna Marie's here. Lynette is here. Thank you so much for joining. So let's talk about anxiety. Does anybody here have anxiety? You know, give me a thumbs up or share with me in the comments what's triggering you to have anxiety. Anxiety truly is a stress response that we experience in the body. See, our body has all these little nerves all over it called neuroceptors. And they're always on guard, looking for us, looking out for us. And so we are just perceivers of life experience through our neuroception, through our awareness, through the senses that we have, that we see, we hear, we taste, we smell, we touch. And as we start to internalize our perception of these things, our body reacts. And sometimes we can get into a state of anxiety, and that anxiety can be experienced in a lot of different ways, but very commonly can be an accelerated heartbeat. It can be a temperature shift. Maybe you get a little sweaty. Maybe you feel some tightness in the chest. Maybe you notice some lightness in your head. Maybe there's lightness all over your body. So it's a very physiological type of experience when we're going through anxiety. And often when we're in that state, we might be noticing a flurry of conversation going on in the mind, worried thoughts, overthinking thoughts. And that can be somewhat of, what you might be experiencing in your anxiety. Now, what triggers your anxiety could be unique to you. Maybe it's a social environment. Maybe it's a stressful job or a critical boss, or maybe it is a relationship conflict that you're having. There's a lot of things that can trigger your anxiety. They don't even have to be happening to you, because literally we can do this in our own mind as we recall memories, as we recall stories and situations that bother us. And so the trick with helping with tapping is to be able to go to those experiences that we know that trip us into our anxiety. We talked a little bit about what anxiety is and how we might be perceiving it through our neuroception and through our awareness, and how we might be experiencing it in the body. So if this sounds familiar to you, just let me know, and I'm going to read a couple of comments here. Hey, Christy Warnick's here. Hello. Marina says, being a single mom creates anxiety. Absolutely. I'm sure it does. Lynette says she has anxiety for being an empath. Yes, definitely when you're sensitive energy and you're just perceiving a lot of that sensory overload, it really can go into the body and kind of get stuck in that stress response. Nicole says, we all do. I think that sadly we live in these times where we're just very overstimulated by the external world, and that just compounds on us all the time to the point of being overwhelmed. And so our poor little bodies are living in a state of stress, and this is why we have a lot of chronic stress symptoms that we're experiencing. More and more people having depression, anxiety, are unable, having migraines, having other autoimmune types of symptoms start to show up in their life. So yeah, I think we're living in a very, very stressful time right now, where there's so much coming at us that it's way too much stimulation, especially for the sensitive ones. And a lot of you on this page are very sensitive, and that can just be internalized in just very anxious ways. So I'm going to say hi to Donna. Donna's here. She says she has severe anxiety and panic attacks. Yes, I understand. Lisa says that she shakes even. That's one of her symptoms. Great, thank you for sharing that, Lisa. Michelle says, my body reacts a lot. I feel terrified. I don't know why. Paula says, hi, new here. I deal with stress and I've been told I have PTSD. Great. Well, great and not great. So great that you're all here, because you're on the right show, and we're here talking about anxiety, and I'm about to share with you a really fast, simple tool that you can use in the moment to be able to reverse your energies when you're in that fight or flight anxiety panic. So wherever you're at, get your hands free because we're going to use both hands for this. I've been trained in Donna Eden's method of energy medicine, and one of my favorite of all time, simple, easy tricks that can help you really get your anxiety under control on demand is something that she calls the triple warmer smoothie. And I know it kind of sounds a little funky and funny, and it even looks funnier, but suspend all disbelief just for the next few minutes here and go along with me. So I invite you right now to think of something that triggers your anxiety. And I know you probably don't want to go there. You're having a nice time. You're watching me, and maybe you're just sitting and watching on your phone or your laptop, and you're like, oh, but Suzanne, I don't want to do that. And I'm going to say, you got to press on the pain just a little bit to have the experience of what can help you in the moments when we're not simulating it. So let's go and simulate some trigger that might get you a little bit, tight, tense, a little light, maybe a little uncomfortable, maybe not as extreme as a panic attack, but something where you're actually getting into that experience of panic, into that experience of anxiety, not full panic. And when you're there, what you're going to do is this triple warmer smoothie. So how you do it is you're going to take your two fingers, one on the inside of the top of your nose, and then one on the inside of your eyes, right here on the top of your on your eyebrows. And what you're going to do is you're going to just press and sweep your face with your fingers, and then take your two fingers and start tapping on your temples. This is the start of the triple warmer meridian in the body. And then you're going to start tapping around you take all four fingers on both hands and tap around your ears, all the way down your neck, all the way to your thymus. And then take your hands in a fist and put them on your heart chakra and just take a nice easy breath and blow it out. And you're going to do it 2 more times. So take your fingers on the inside of your nose and the top of your eyes and sweep your face. Press your temples, tap your head behind your ear, all the way down your neck, all the way to your thymus. Put your hands on your heart chakra. Take a nice easy breath. Let's do it 1 more time. Fingers, sweep your face, press your temples, tap your head behind your ear, almost using your hand like a claw, all the way around, down your neck, all the way to your heart chakra. Take a nice easy breath. Blow it out. So if you followed along, let me know what that experience was like for you. For me, it instantaneously just calms all the body systems. When we're feeling anxious, our nervous system goes to work for us. Our sympathetic nervous system gets engaged with the musculoskeletal system, which is our muscles and our joints and our tendons. It engages our endocrine system, which is our body chemistry. It engages our respiratory system, which is how we breathe, our cardiovascular system, which is all the energy within our blood and our cells to get us going. So 100% of those resources are deployed to keep us safe in either fighting or flighting. And the thing is that we're using that body system, that sympathetic nervous system, all forces go for things like an argument, a traffic jam, something that was mild, that should just be mildly upsetting. And the reason why we're going to these extreme reactions of anxiety is because we're just compounding the day full of being overwhelmed. And so our energy is just depleted and depleted and depleted and depleted. That's why the smallest little thing can set us off into fight or flight and be in that anxious mode. So when we start to retrain the body to be more calm and more present, we won't have these overreactive anxiety states. And this triple warmer smoothie that we just learned is one way to do it in the moment, in the heat of your stress. When you're having anxiety, remember, sweep your face, press your temples, tap your head behind your ears, all the way to your heart chakra. Take a breath. You might need to do it 3, 4, 5, 6 times, but I promise you, what it's doing, it's reversing the energy that's in your body that is directly part of the energy system that is engaging all those sympathetic nervous system, body systems that are supporting that are creating your anxiety. So if you know a little bit about triple warmer, it runs from the ring finger all the way up the arm and around the ear and ends up here. So as you notice, it goes from the finger up the arm and around. So when we're tapping on the triple warmer smoothie, we're going the opposite direction, which is saying, let's change the flow of that direction of the energy. That way it's going to immediately calm us down. So I wanted to give you that really important tool to have in your stress relief toolbox. I'm somebody who struggled with chronic stress for decades, and I had no idea. I spent a lot of time and energy doing things that didn't work for me. I was on a lot of medication, and it wasn't until maybe 15, 16 years ago that I learned about energy medicine and energy healing and was able to bring in these techniques into my world that helped me be able to get off all medication and drop hundreds of pounds. I used to be very, very significantly overweight because I was an emotional overeater. And these simple tools helped me be able to get back and be present in my body's experience. So let me read and see how you all might be having the experience of the triple warmer smoothie. Laurentine, thank you so much for sharing. Lisa says, I'm told my insomnia is from being an empath. So insomnia really is about not being able to shut off the mind. Even if you think consciously, I'm not thinking anything, I just think that I want sleep. There are subconscious patterns of thought that are still active in your body that have a lot of momentum, that haven't allowed enough time to slow down for you to be able to be calm enough to go to sleep. So Lisa, I invite you, when you're having your insomnia, do the triple warmer smoothie and get yourself nice and calm and see if that helps for you. Carla Dube says, only one? It might be 3 or 4 or 5. Just keep doing it until you calm down. Marina says she feels so much better. Thanks so much for saying that, Marina. I'm so glad you're here with us. Sharnajit says, hello, hello. Paula's here. It seemed to help, she says. Lynette says, yes, that helps. Michelle says, I feel my eyes are clearer. I think like an argument, not so much in a fog anymore. That's great. Jennifer McWilliams is here. Hello, Jennifer. So yeah, Michelle's saying he's not in the fog anymore. Okay, gotcha. Hi, Natasha, welcome. So we learned one simple, powerful technique called the triple warmer smoothie. If you're just joining us, feel free to watch the replay. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a round of energy tapping. So I invite you again to think of something that bothers you and how it bothers you that might be triggering and triggering you to have an expression of anxiety. And by expression of anxiety, I mean it might be a lightness sensation in your body, a tightness, a tension, a temperature change. Maybe it's just a rapid fire of overthinking thoughts that you haven't been able to calm down. Whatever it is that triggers you to have that reaction, I invite you to safely right now, bring it to the forefront, welcome it right now. Notice what's behind it. Is it a story? Is it an experience? Is it a thought you're thinking? Is it an old memory? Do you see that as a movie in your mind? Are you in the movie? Or are you just watching it up on a movie screen? Or maybe you're not seeing anything. Maybe you just hear something. Maybe there's a voice that you record. It's, my mother said this and I never forgot it, and every time I think about it, it makes me anxious. Or my boss said this to me and I felt very threatened by it and my body reacts to it and I've never forgotten it, in that tone of voice. Or maybe you don't hear anything. Maybe it's just a sensation. Maybe you just think, I just feel this rapid fire heartbeat. I'm sweating, I'm melting, I don't know what's happening. I feel some tightness, some tension. Whatever your experience of anxiety is, I just invite you to notice it and how you notice it. That's always step number 1 of tapping, is notice what bothers you and how it bothers you. Go to all of that specific detail, what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like. And then step number 2 is give it an intensity number on a scale of 0 to 10. If 0 is it doesn't bother you, or 10 is it really bothers you, find something that's higher than a 6. So I invite you right now, notice what bothers you and how it bothers you, how it triggers your anxiety in whatever form of anxiety that it comes to you. Number 2, give it an intensity number on a scale of 0 to 10. So right now, identify with a number of intensity. Then step number 3 of tapping is go to the part that stands out the most. The part where you say, oh, this is the part that really, really triggers me. The part that really gets my heart racing. The part that really makes me start to sweat. The part that really just triggers off that rapid fire of thinking in my mind. Or whatever it is that you have as your symptom. Maybe it's just your awareness of having insomnia. Maybe it's just your awareness of having a migraine. Whatever it is, put all your focus right there. Go to the part that stands out the most, the part that's really kind of not comfortable. Just go to that part. And then step 4 is we're going to start to tap. So take your 2 fingers, either hand, doesn't matter. Start tapping between your eyes and repeat out loud after me. And say, this anxious feeling, this experience of anxiety, whatever triggered me, how it triggered me, when it triggered me, my experience of anxiety, all the symptoms of it. It's so real to me. And then tap on the side of the eye right here. This experience of anxiety, the thoughts of it, the beliefs, the stories, the memories that contribute to the pattern of my body's anxiety, my body's expression of anxiety, and all of its symptoms. My anxiety pattern, wherever it came from, whatever it means, I'm willing to calm it down right now. I'm always okay in the present moment. Settling down all my body systems right now. I'm really okay. Clearing whatever thoughts are going on. No longer real. It's okay to calm down now. And then tap on your collarbones. This experience of anxiety, how I experience it in all of my body systems, trying to keep me safe. I thank it so much. And I'm willing right now to let it go. It's safe to let it go. I'm willing to let it go. I deserve to calm down and bring myself peace in this moment. And then tap between your eyes again. Any remaining anxiety patterns, any thoughts, any symptoms, just settling them down. Any remaining symptoms, what they feel like, what they look like, just letting them go, allowing myself to calm down now, just letting it go. And then take one hand and squeeze the opposite wrist a couple times. Take a nice easy breath, blow it out, say the word clear. Then I invite you in your mind to go to someplace that's super calm and soothing and relaxing for you. Maybe it's your favorite bed and your favorite pillow. Maybe it's a nice warm shower. Maybe it's sitting on your couch with your pet. Maybe it's holding your partner's hand. Maybe it's watching a funny movie. Maybe it's your most favorite vacation. Go to something that feels really, really good right now. I invite you to just fill your whole body from your feet all the way to the top of your head. Go be in that experience of feeling really, really good. And try and make it as strong as you possibly can. Focus on the best parts of it. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Just be in that space. And when you've got something that's higher than an 8 and you're feeling really, really good, I want you to tap between your eyes. and say, this is who I really am, naturally and easily. This wonderful feeling. It's all mine. And I can have it anytime I want. And it feels so good. And it's all mine. And I create it. Like I create all things. And this feels so good. Maybe even looks good. Sounds good. And it's good to feel good. And I have this reference inside of me. And I can have it anytime I want. Whenever I want to feel good, I'm going to come right here to this wonderful, great place. That's all mine. And then take your one hand and squeeze the opposite wrist a couple times. Take a nice, easy breath. Blow it out. Say the word peace. Then I invite you to go back to what was bothering you and triggering you before and notice what's the intensity number that you've got going. When we first started, I invited you to identify what number intensity on a scale of 0 to 10 that you may have been experiencing your anxiety. So what was your original number and what are you now? Pop it in the chat and let me know. Let me know. What were you to start with and how are you feeling now? Clean Eats Organic says, thanks so much for the triple warmer smoothie. You're welcome. Please use it and let me know how it goes. Vanna wants to know about people who don't drive on the freeway because of panic attacks. Yeah, sure, that can certainly keep you from going into an environment. Sharnazeet said, staying present and out of mind staying present and out of the mind helps us, I think she's saying, being able to deal with whatever it is that's going on helps us. Yeah, definitely being present is important. Hey, Belinda Jennings, thanks for being here. And Krista's here. Thanks, Krista, for being here. And Bethany Wolf. Michelle Waldorf says, endless restlessness. Hello, Alyssa. Thanks for being here. Hi, Dean. So let's see, I'm getting to some of the numbers now. So Sharnajeet said that it was an 8 and now it's a 4. That's amazing, and that's just in a few minutes. Michelle Wardorf says 10 and now 4. Carla says 10 to a 3. That's brilliant. Paula says 8 to a 6. Donna says 8 to a 3. Carla says the first tapping did not work for me. So I'll tell you, a lot of people might think that, but tapping always works. Now, great indicators for people who have gone from a 10 to a 3, a 10 to a 4, an 8 to a 4, an 8 to a 6, an 8 to a 3. What that tells me is that there is still attachment, that there's still momentum and intensity that is going as the experience of the anxiety. So the tapping certainly will start to calm down the mind and body to be able to bring you more present. But if your anxiety is fueled up to, say, 500 miles an hour of energy body intensity, well, when you're tapping and you calm down to, say, 300 miles an hour, well, that's still really, really, really fast. And so you might not see or sense a difference because it's still going really fast. And so I'm so glad, Donna, that you asked that. Was it Donna? No, Paula, who asked that question, because the more you are willing and persistent to stay with your tapping, the more you'll be able to calm down the momentum that your body is experiencing for that reaction of anxiety. And there are certain things that trigger us to go a million miles an hour. And we know this because our energy body has different speeds for different experiences that we have. And so when we have a trigger, it may react at a 50 mile an hour type of momentum. We may react at 100 miles an hour. Maybe we react at 500 miles an hour. It really depends on us and the sensitivity that we have to the thing that's triggering us. You know, if you're driving on the road and somebody cuts you off, you might immediately go into a panic and you clench and you get contracted and you tighten, you hold your breath. But then as soon as it's safe, you kind of let your guard, you just let everything go and you get loosey-goosey again, and you're able to breathe. And so that was just kind of a quick and a release, a quick tightness and anxiety and then a release. And you might often feel it's kind of like a tingly sensation. But then there are those things that, you know, are more intensity and get us to stay contracted in that tight and tense place, in that stress response place, where that sympathetic nervous system is really engaged in arming us with all of the body chemistry and all of the respiratory and the cardiovascular, you know, needs that we have to deploy as resources. And we can't just stop that on a dime. There's some momentum behind that deployment of all that energy and resources in our body. And so tapping helps us to, again, send a message to the brain and the body to say, it's okay to calm down now. But if you're at 500 miles an hour, it's going to take a while for you. I mean, if you're an airplane going 500 miles an hour, you don't just turn around on a dime. You take a nice wide turn to come around. So if your energy body has got that much intensity, it might take some time, and that requires your willing and persistence to keep up with the tapping, to neutralize every part and piece. And by that I mean, what is it you're seeing in your mind? Every frame of that movie that you're playing that's stressing you out. What is it that you're hearing? The voices, the noises, the sounds, all those things that might be getting you into that reaction of anxiety. Or maybe it's the symptoms of your body, and it's that racing heart. If you've got a racing heart, you've got some tightness, tension, you've got some lightness, it might take a couple of rounds of tapping to truly get your body to start to calm down. And that might take a couple of minutes. It might take an hour. It might take, you know, a bit of time. It depends on what you're doing in that moment to either continue to put the gas pedal on your anxiety or pump the brakes. So immediately back to the triple warmer smoothie. This is a great technique to do in that moment to be able to help you neutralize that energy really, really fast. Do it 3 or 4 or 5 times. In addition to that, now you've got this awesome tool with this awesome technique with tapping. What to say? Don't worry about it. Yes, I used a lot of words when we were just tapping through the tapping points. All you need to do is focus on your symptoms of your anxiety, whether they are in your mind, in your emotions, in your body. Pay attention to those symptoms. Focus on the parts that stand out the most uncomfortable parts of them, and tap at the same time. And all you have to ever say is, I'm willing to let it go. It's safe to let it go. I'm letting it go. Let it go. 3 simple words. So don't get too tied up into, what do I say? I don't have the right words. Don't worry about it. Your job is to focus on your symptoms, staying present with yourself, and tapping at the same time. Let it go, let it go. I'm willing to let it go. So Carl asked how often to tap, and that's a great question too. So in the beginning, I recommend that you make tapping a habit. So maybe you do it in the morning when you brush your teeth, and then at lunchtime, and then maybe in the evening. And all you can do is just in those moments, maybe notice what's going on in your thoughts and if they're stressing you out. And just say, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. But if you're just really in the moment of your heightened experience of anxiety, that's actually when you should be tapping. Use tapping as a tool to help you be able to calm down your mind and body in the moment. So I know I've been doing a lot of tapping and a lot of talking, and I wanted to share with you that I have a free Facebook group. It's for women only. It's called the Empowered Tapping Revolution, where I do video like this every day. There's a link in the description box of this video if anybody's interested to join. I do a Wednesday night tapping open house, which is very similar to this format, where I come on, I do a live video, I take all of your questions and be able to do a live tap. So please, please, please come and join me over at the Empowered Tapping Revolution. And also my special offer to anybody who is on the Akashic Academy and watching this now or on replay later, to sign up for 30 minutes of a free mini tapping session with me. There's a link in the description box to find time in your calendar to have a mini personalized tapping experience to really help you jumpstart being able to calm down and get the peace and the clarity on demand that you need when you're having your anxiety in the middle of your stress and struggle. So Jennifer McWilliams says, thank you. I say thank you back to you, Jennifer. Carla says, thank you also. So hopefully tonight's video and show was helpful for you. I look forward to reading more of your comments and questions. I invite you to join the Empowered Tapping Revolution and pop 30 minutes onto my calendar whenever it is that you're available and get a personal, mini tapping session to be able to help you in the moments of your stress and struggle, when your anxiety strikes, to be able to quickly and easily get your nervous system back to a regulated state, be able to come back to peace and calm. Because we know that when we are present, we are able to have clarity, we have perspective to make the choices with confidence that we want in the world and not be so reactive. So tapping is this brilliant tool that helps us to be able to reprogram our stress at the root. And how we do that is just like we did tonight, is I invite you to go into all of the details that are behind your anxiety and dissect them with all the storylines, all the symptoms. Use that as your tapping script. Tap in the moment of your stress and let me know how it goes for you. So thank you so much for listening to me. This show is every Monday at the Akashic Academy at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I think 6 a.m. Tuesday mornings Eastern Time on the replay. And I will see you next Monday. But please, please, please come and join me over at the Empowered Tapping Revolution and pop some time onto my calendar and let's get your tapping working for you. I'll see you next time.